Students united will never be divided.
May 1st, International Workers' Day, is a traditional day of protest for fair labor and wage practices both on and off college campuses.
No problem. Which one do you want?
In recent years, it's also become a way for students to express opposition to school policies.
SDSU was established as a public university, not a private corporation.
This year, the biggest issue at San Diego State University may be that of so-called student success fees. That means an extra fee in addition to tuition and books. It'll be $50 a semester starting this fall, but will be incrementally raised until it's $200 a semester in 2017. Students say this places an unfair burden squarely on their shoulders and wallets. Student Christopher Lara Cruz says he sees it as more than digging just a little deeper into his pockets. He says it's part of an ongoing ideological battle about who should pay for public education.
The master plan for higher education was that it would be more on the state. And the state as a whole in the electorate chose to go along with that they wanted the state to reinvest.
SDSU President Elliot Hirschman says that's just not realistic anymore. And in fact, it never was.
The hope under the master plan was that state support would be sufficient to cover all the educational expenses. That turned out from the start not to be true, in that certain things like laboratory materials were never covered by the master plan. But as time has gone on and the support from the state has been reduced, then there have been need for other sources to support the educational program, and tuition has been one of them.
We need to pay more fees to get a better education. This is false.
Hirschman says California's freeze on tuition increases in 2012 made it necessary to create the additional fees. He says the money will go to hiring more tenure-track professors.
You have a tension between the cultural traditions of the master plan, where the assumption would be that the state would cover the costs and students would not, and the reality of supporting strong academic programs, which is that if the state doesn't provide those costs, then students through tuition and fees have to be a part of that solution. And so that's where we are in California, often with a tension between the historical context of the master plan and the realities of today.
Peter Herman's a professor at San Diego State University. He says although he understands the difficulty of paying an extra fee every semester, he feels it's a necessary evil.
What this fee is going to do is make a small but absolutely necessary dent in replenishing our faculty. It's not a lot of money, and there are also protections built in to make sure that nobody has to leave San Diego State because of financial reasons. In other words, some of the money is going to be going towards a fund that will help students.
Furthermore, says SDSU spokesman Greg Block, the school sent out emails, and the majority of students who voted wanted the fees.
There was a very clean process, a very transparent process. There was plenty of opportunity for people to participate. You know, the reasons why people didn't participate I can't speak to, but there was a very good, clean process for participation. And again, 64% of the people who did participate heard the presentations and had the opportunity to voice their opinion, and they voted in favor of a fee.
Maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
But opponents, like graduate student Andrew Tangeman, say that despite the school's claims to the contrary, they didn't have a say in the matter because not enough students participated in the process.
To me, the amount of clutter we receive in emails is, especially with keeping up with classes and stuff, it's a little bit difficult for everyone to obtain information by that way. And that's one of the reasons why when we vote and we rate professors, we're required to do that before we register for classes. So to me, the question was, why wasn't there a referendum required prior to registering for classes? That would have ensured a 100% turnout rate and more accurately represent the student opinion.
But Christopher Lara Cruz says they have ideas.
A lot of us student leaders are also taking a proactive approach in advocating for Prop 13 reform, as well as an oil extraction fee to get more money for education. So instead of saying, oh, this is the reality, this is the pools, there's nothing we can do, we're taking the approach of that may be the reality, but reality can be changed.
Student success fees have been rolled out across the California State University system to similar protests.
Students united will never be divided.
San Jose State University recently agreed to lower its success fee after it came under fire for using a large part of the money generated for athletics programs. For KPBS, I'm Brooke Binkowski.
We'll never be divided. The students